Hello everyone and welcome to Inspiral Out Loud, where we are exploring ways to create a thriving future for all sentience. So a few days ago I had a chat with Ala Nur and we're going to continue that chat today. She'll be sharing a bit more about her work. So Ala Nur is an awareness researcher, author and founder of Nurology. She's a holistic healer with a background in naturopathy from Germany for the awakening and ascension process of humanity towards universal awareness. Ala Nur, thank you so much for being here again.
Thanks for having me, Tjoni, in Spiral. I'm really happy to be there and being able to talk about these subjects.
Wonderful. So I'm going to pretty much hand the reins over to you now, because I know that you have some information prepared to share with people about your work. So I'd love to hear what you have to share with us now.
Thank you, Tjoni, for the introduction. Yes, so we want to talk about the awakening process and shed some light on it because it is something that people are using very frequently in their sayings, in their works, and we want to get a certain perspective on that process that is ongoing now on Earth, actually for all its inhabitants, and not something happening outside of us, but which is concerning every sentient being on Earth right now. So when we're talking about the awakening process, we could use for a better understanding of the mind, like kind of a scale from 0 to 800, whereby 0 is in levels of energy, which already different awareness researchers had talked upon, like Robert Monroe and Frederick Dodson, important names in these fields. When we talk about levels of energy, we could make like a classification. If we take it for the human realm, is the levels of energy, for example, from 0 to 800, whereas 0 is like the level of Earth, which is really of I say low quality because I mean high density, a very dense realm of being. And 800 is a really heavenly state of being. So when we are talking within these parameters, if we go quickly over the levels of energy, it's 0, really like the gate to the demonic realm and hell, if people think in these dimensions and notions. And from 0 to 100, you have the state of, regarding to humans, of being still very close to the demonic realm, being confronted with very much violence and hatred, and this dense stage of being, sadness, grief are very present in the life of a human that is in the stage between of 0 and 100, maybe even contact to demonic entities, and very close to the stage of 0 and below 0. So from 100 to 200, you have the stage where you are a little bit further away from the very dense states of being, but you're still, well, may experience hardship in your life and are still well to go on the awakening process. But you gain some awareness. There's some light in the stage of 200 that you sense, okay, there must be something more to life than just a struggle. When you then arrive at the levels of energy of 300, then you have like that where humanity, most of humanity is now at, really struggling, surviving, doing with a certain awareness, but still very much caught up in the present structures that, well, I will really say are caught up in right now. Yes. And the stage of 400, you are going to the genius zone. From 300 to 400, that is the path where most of humanity now is discovering potential, looking what is their mortal life, really having the desire to go from the survival mode to the thrival mode, awakening slowly to what we are up to here. Yes. And 400 is the stage of cultivation of self-discovery, of exploring human potential, new inventions, free energy. All that is at the level 400, but still very much attached to the earth plane, to the material earth plane. In the direction of 500, you go towards the direction of unconditional love, where you are at a very high frequency of being, where you go towards the perception of understanding life as a whole, as a universal, wholly present, actually, where we are striving towards unity. And there is a strong longing also for the divine presence in your life. You will, at this stage, you will try to consciously connect to divine source. You will be mostly in love. The things that you encounter in your life will be much more peaceful. You will be able to have a foundation of unfolding and thriving and bringing your presence into life. And your foundation will truly be love at this stage. That does not mean that you do not have any struggles at all anymore, but you are aware that these are merely, like examinations for playing your program out more fully. If I say playing your program out, I assume that every being that is living on Earth right now has kind of a soul program included, like a software that is playing out in the field that we are at right now. And from my perception, it is like really most of humanity being on the 3D, 300 energy level realm, 3D, on their journey to a higher level awareness, which is the normal path of spiritual evolution, are now caught in the space between 300 and 400. And the path between 400 and 500 is quite challenging because of the turbulences of the four-dimensional level. There is so much confusion. There is so much, games also. And, let's say entities. We talked about that last time. The entities are different subject on themselves. Many traps on the four-dimensional level that are to be overcome, and it is always best advice from very farly developed teachers to pass the fourth dimensional realm as fast as possible, as quick as possible, not being stuck there, not being caught up in the games, not being lost in the turbulences, not being lost in their own mind or in their own struggles, even not in their own selves, but trying to see the overall picture, which the bridge really is. The closest and most beautiful bridge is love to that, and the frequency of love. I'm not necessarily talking about romantic love to one or two people who please you, people who like you. No, it's really, that is what I'm talking about, is a frequency that the individual being is at most of the time on the space of 500 and above. And from 500, you got more or less an open space. It is much easier from 500 to 600 to achieve a level of where you are, let's say, going into the direction of an avatar, of a really transcended being that is letting divine energy through for the best of all creation. And then on 700, you go even higher towards universal awareness. Then you are a being that is really highly, fully realized. And then, normally you will not stay on Earth much longer on that height because Earth will be too dense for these beings. And from 800, it's like a heavenly being that is fully ascended. So that is the scale for the human understanding. When we're talking about the awakening process, is a process from really density to lightness. And these are the stages that we're normally going through. Now, critical and the work of neurology gets in where people are stuck in 3D and in themselves and in their thoughts, for being the bridge to pass towards unconditional love, towards universal awareness, towards divine reconnection. So that is how I would put the awakening process at this time of being. So we call it that awakening is ascension on this path, maybe ascension of energy.
Beautiful. And so where do you see that most people would come to visit you, like at around 300, and where do you see that they hope to roughly end up?
Yeah, well, thank you for this question, Tony. It is, I classify the people who are interested in spiritual awakening. It is between 350 when you left the wheel of, like this very diligent, I will call it like that, but like mid-class space, or who are very bourgeois, or trying through working hard, getting somewhere materially, having a house, having a car, having a fancy life, having all these things, and then asking themselves, okay, was that it? Was that it? Having reached some point in materiality, owning some things, reached somewhere in status and title in life, how it is classified right now on Earth, and then asking, okay, was that it? Where do I go afterwards? What is going on here? There is a certain emptiness. Normally, people will arrive at a stage where, from 350, after they've worked so hard to get there will be a certain emptiness. So now what? And that is when neurology comes into play. From 300 around to 450 are the really already realized people materialistically, or having reached somewhere, and then asking, okay, so now what? And then bridging the gap from there to the realm of 500, the realm of unconditional love and universal awareness from there on. That is where, we come in. Yes, and find that there is a bridge, there is a pathway, a high-speed road that you can take for reaching from 350 to 500 in a very fast way. And from 500, you are on a different path. You will have your own intuition. You will be living from your heart. You will have the perspective of universal awareness. You will have the divine reconnection. You will be very sovereign from 500, 550 on. So, and that is what we're all about. Yes, about sovereignty and independence and soul liberation. There are so many traps between 350 and 450 where people can get stuck and do not realize, like the money game, the survival game, the career game, the how do I do it best game, beyond how to be, beyond how to develop the light soul body that will remain for us actually after life, beyond how can I serve best, how can I be in divine service best, how can I cultivate my divine source connection, how can I be such a magnet for love that the reality that I am experiencing and sharing with others is in a way aligned to divine will and leading to fulfillment and transcendence for all creation on earth.
Yeah.
It is really like escaping the mind prison. And it is so important to walk this path. And it is an illusion to think it will happen by itself. It may, but it will take very long time. And me personally, I would say we better rush instead of being trapped in 350 levels, where we could be on 500 and really bypass a lot of suffering and a lot of pain for many beings on Earth right now.
And also from the perspective of the frequencies, energies sort of raising and becoming higher, the earth itself, like she is healing herself and her vibration is growing as well. So, if we don't move with it and if we don't rise with her, this realm is going to be too uncomfortable for us. Which actually, when you were talking about the light beings at what you would call 800 in your map, of them being of such a high density that actually they couldn't exist here on Earth anymore. I have the sense that somehow the frequency on Earth will ultimately be raising to the point where the Earth can house much lighter frequencies than she currently has, because she's healing herself as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it is spiritual evolution for everyone, and it is high time for humanity, who is being really like kind of in a trap and caught in a trap of deception and wrong self-perception, to move up with Earth. I'm totally with you when I say there are really also divine energy streaming onto Earth that is really powerful. That's why we experience all this chaos and all the turbulence within that bandwidth of reality that we are able to perceive still. That is a purification process that just has to take place. It is like, if very easy, if you're cleaning up somewhere, there will be dust at first, there will be, you know, a mess at first, until you have the clean version of whatever, yourself or your living room or whatever. So this is the mess that we're going through, but it is important not to lose sight of where we are going to. Yes, so it is the path of really spiritual evolution towards universal awareness. If we still want to be custodians and inhabitants of the new ascended Earth, we have to definitely go with that. And that's what makes it urgent. It is a self-fulfilling process. And the traps are making it not necessarily very easy if people are caught up in this inscenated survival scenario where they need to have money, to have food, to have access to housing, and all these things. They are kept in insecurity, which makes it really difficult to see the broader perspective. Yes, but we are able to. We are creative beings. We are electromagnetical beings. We have a lot of powers that are still to be discovered when we step out of this, plan.
Yeah, because all of those limitations are fabricated. They're not a natural part of our inhabitation here.
Exactly. And to find back to our spiritual process and natural path, we have to speed up a bit. It is nice to attract, and you know, we can stay here forever on the lower. We are at the lower fourth dimensional realm right now, where things are manifesting very quickly. But I mean, how long do you want to do that? How many cars does one need, or how many houses, or you know? It is not about this fulfillment any longer after you've reached that 350, 400, this materialistic fulfillment. When you manifest out of ego instead of manifesting out of higher self, it will get boring at some point. You know, it's not about that until people come to realize that their truth inheritance, their truth heritage is somewhere completely else. And they have to look further beyond control, further beyond power struggle, further beyond struggling for titles or status or money or whatever is attractive for people right now at that stage. Yeah.
Well, I think it comes down to
stepping
people.
out of that is truly the enlightenment and awakening process. Stepping out of these roles and the self-perception that is just not true, towards truth and towards love and towards universal awareness. Yes, from this perspective, that's where, well, it starts to get interesting also, and really exciting and funny.
Well, I think this is the process of ending the need for our environment and our external circumstances to create our happiness and well-being and satisfaction in life, and understanding that it all comes from in here. We don't need anything outside of ourselves. When this is lined up, everything comes to us that we need, and we don't need to grasp onto it, and we don't need to rely or attach ourselves to it. So For people that are interested in neurology, could you perhaps briefly talk to like what might a session look like? As in, is it hands-on healing? Is it a counseling or a trance type process? Is it body work? Like what kinds of tools are you using to guide people through in this way?
Well, on neurology.org, we have developed the Divine Blueprint program, which is an online program actually to getting people through that process as profoundly and lastingly and swiftly as possible, actually, for getting them out on the other side, like a really well realized and being in unconditional love, who is aware of his creative abilities, his potential, and living from the heart. So that is an online program that we've set up through many, many years of experience and working with clients to get people as close as possible to the state of universal awareness, meaning beyond 500.
So just as far as what people could relate it to, as an online course, would there be elements of self-hypnosis or visioning of dream work? Like, can you relate it to something like what can people expect from their experience?
Yeah, sure. We will go through a powerful purification process, which is one of the most basic works with interesting elements of it, of forgiveness, of repentance, of readjustment, of detoxification, even from body, mind, and the soul connection. Heart purification is a very important factor in this first step. Then we are going through a transformative process also, yes, through dream work and also readjustment process. We always have that. We go through a divine reconnection, living from the heart over to the part of divine service where true fulfillment really lies.
So it sounds like there's a few different types of practices, is that right?
Yes, correct, correct. Okay. Every module is building up upon the other. It is about transformation and transcendence eventually to these higher states of being. And at the end, we have the perspective of this universal awareness where we are really purified and ideally really healed and great parts of our being divinely reconnected and living from our heart in the awareness of our soul purpose while being deeply connected to divine source.
Beautiful. It sounds like lovely and beautiful and important work that you're doing, helping people to move onwards, to move inwards, to journey through all the good things. So thank you for that, Ala Nur. And is there anything else that you'd like to add before we head off today?
Well, we definitely also, I inspire and invite people to visit neurology.org because we have shifts in our programs. We will be offering retreats. We will be offering really great spaces for people to develop and foundations also for this awakening and ascension processes. What I, as a message, would like to convey would be really take care of your energy, take responsibility of your energy, because the things that you're experiencing in your so-called reality in your life, that what is happening all around you is deeply connected to what you are sending out. So what you have to do if you want to experience a higher reality or a true improvement in your life is not necessarily trying to change the conditions of your life, but to try to purify from the inside to being able to attract higher energies. That is really a challenge for us now because we are conditioned to change things in the outside, which is never ending actually. It is like if you have a computer to want to change the screen with a pencil, yes, drawing on the monitor. But if you want true change, you have to look inside and improve the energies from that are being sent out from you to being able to attract a higher reality. So that will be the ultimate key, actually. So guard your energies, your attention, your focus. That would be something really important to do in the upcoming times for humanity in general, for the ascension and awakening process.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And so for people wanting to get onto your website, it's Nurology, NUROLOGY.org. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right,
yes,
great.
it is correct.
So we will put those details in the description of this video. And if you would like to follow any of my work, Tjoni, TJONI.com, for all things creative writing related, for detoxification of the body, especially from medical and environmental toxins, Detoxify4 health.com, and for all things community in -spiral.org. And thanks again for joining us today, Ala Nur. And for everybody watching at home, look forward to seeing you next time. Till next time, my friends, be well and keep dreaming the good dream. Ciao for now.